On June 21st, 2025, we will enter Cancer season and therefore experience the summer solstice of 2025. This is such a beautiful and transformative time for growth, abundance, and change, and it's really important that we fully understand both what it means to be in Cancer season and to experience the summer solstice as one. That way we can grow and prepare alongside of these events. In this video, we will explore what the summer solstice is, what Cancer season means, the astrological significance of the summer solstice, along with how it can align with our self-development journey. And we'll also go over some actionable steps and tips for the summer solstice this weekend. So we'll really dig into how to take care of yourself during this energetically charged season of the year and ways to honor your growth so far in 2025. You can think of the summer solstice as a marker for the mid-year, so we'll want to pay attention to many different things that allow us to track our progress throughout this year and allow us to see how far we've come. It's just a really important date for self-reflection and introspection and really turning inward, especially because it's Cancer season. Astronomically, the summer solstice occurs when the sun is at the northernmost point that it will be for the entire year in the sky. This also marks the start of the summer season for the northern hemisphere, and it's also actually the longest day of the year. Astrologically, this event coincides with the start of Cancer season. Cancer season is our first water sign season of the year, and it starts off the water signs by being a cardinal sign. So this is really where we take initiative when it comes to water sign themes, especially because we're experiencing this change and beginning of a new zodiac season during such a powerful event with the sun. The solstice is a part of 4 different points that happen throughout each year. So we'll have the summer solstice, the winter solstice, and then the autumn equinox and the spring equinox. And these are all very important and pivotal points in the year, and they offer up energetic doorways pretty much just because the veil is thinner on these days and the sun is really illuminating what is left in the shadows. These 4 points are called a cardinal cross in astrology, and they mark a day in which light and consciousness is higher, so therefore energetically and vibrationally we're operating on a higher level. Energetically, the solstice is the climax of solar energy. Like I said, it's when the sun is at its highest point in the sky that it will be for the year. So you can kind of think about it like you think about a full moon. When the moon is full, we are seeing the most illuminated point of the moon in the sky. You can think about it in terms of the summer solstice because the sun is shining the brightest and shining the most over the sky and the earth. So this allows for hidden parts of ourselves and our external environment to be highlighted. It's kind of like a mirror when you really think about it. It allows us to reflect on our growth thus far and also highlight the things that both are working for us and aren't working for us, which is really, really important to analyze and reflect on. Also, similar to the energies of a full moon, the summer solstice is a perfect time for both reflecting on your journey so far. So think where you were at the beginning of the winter solstice at the beginning of 2025. And it's also a great time for pivoting once we've analyzed what's working and what's not working. We want to take action no matter what because we've already set our intentions and planted our seeds. So the summer solstice is all about analyzing those seeds that we've planted and seeing what room we still have for growth. This is also a great time for shining a light on where you think you've fallen short so far this year. So this really allows us to see where exactly we've been out of or fallen out of alignment, both with our own bodies and with the earth, because it's important to practice grounding and strive to be grounded at all times. This is also a really great time if you are more astrologically minded to pay attention to your solar return calendar or chart, whatever you want to call it. It allows us to kind of see this personal evolution that's occurred in 2025 so far. So it's just another tool for reflection and introspection, and kind of something interesting to note if you're into looking at your solar return chart every year. As we move out of the super high energy, stimulating, fast moving pace of Gemini season, we're going to move into a much slower energy with Cancer season. And this is something that I am personally really, really excited about. The sign of Cancer is ruled by the moon, which is our fastest moving luminary. So a lot of our Cancer energy that we see is going to be very emotional, very intuitive, very moon-driven energy. And we're going to see it shift and change with a quickness because our emotions and our feelings this time around are ruled by the moon and they're moving with the moon. So think moving with the tides. Just like we keep track of moon signs each week, that's kind of what we'll see here. So when you're paying attention to, Monday's an Aries moon or Wednesday is a Pisces moon, just know that this energy might affect you a little bit extra this time around. Cancer also rules over the 4th house in astrology, which is important to note because that means that Cancer rules over our home, our foundations, our roots, our family lives, the things that we hold dear to us. Cancer has an extremely motherly and nurturing energy that we really want to work to channel this time and really delve into ourselves when it comes to that emotional softness and intuitiveness. Like I mentioned earlier, Cancer is a cardinal water sign, so it pushes us to move into a new phase of our lives emotionally. Because it's a cardinal sign, Cancer isn't passive. It moves and it gets things done, but it moves through emotion, not through logic. So when we're feeling like wearing our heart on our sleeve this season, that's kind of the energy that we're seeing here, because it is quick to take action, and Cancer does take action, differing from maybe Pisces or Scorpio energy. Cancer season can highlight a few things such as emotional imbalances, unprocessed grief or longing, patterns that are inherited from your family, our boundaries between ourselves and others, and your relationship with the idea of home, both externally and internally. I think Cancer season is also very profound and very special in its own right because it is ruled by or represented by, however you want to word it, the crab. And the crab has a harder outer shell but a softer inside, and that is very representative of Cancer season because one of the most important parts of Cancer season is working to set boundaries. So where you might need to have that harder external shell, you will still adapt and grow with that soft inside. So Cancer season really promotes within us setting boundaries emotionally, specifically, and internally. So we're looking at what doesn't serve us emotionally and what does serve us emotionally. And when we notice the things that don't serve us, that's where we want to set those boundaries, even if it's difficult to do. It's really important, and Cancer season really supports this energy and growth. Cancer season, because it is ruled by the moon, is also known to be extremely motherly, and I don't say that in the sense of our own mother, but more so in the sense of how we mother ourselves is what we want to pay attention to during this time. So are you good about nurturing yourself and your inner child, or do you tend to self-abandon when things get hard? These are all really important themes to pay attention to, and things that I believe we'll see highlighted during this time. Cancer season really inspires us to go from intellectualizing to feeling, and really embracing the natural energy of our inner child. So I recommend journaling during this time or doing an inner child meditation. That's something that I always think is really special to do during Cancer season, and it would be a great ritual for the summer solstice itself coming up this weekend, just because we see again this illumination that we don't usually get, and it allows us to shine a light on the deeper parts of our emotional self, which is usually our inner child. So protecting our inner child, mothering our inner child, and leaning into that nurturing energy is again the overall all-encompassing idea of Cancer season. If you walk away from this video with one thing about Cancer season, know that it's all about emotional nurturing and setting boundaries where we can't exactly perform that. Something that I think is also really important to both learn and discuss in this video is more so the history behind Cancer season and the summer solstice, just because so much of astrology, astronomy, spirituality is rooted in very old roots and traditions. It's important to know and honor the people that came before us and the traditions that they followed for these events, because we can learn so much from that and take from it important rituals and aspects that we wouldn't have otherwise known. In ancient Egypt, the summer solstice actually corresponded with the flooding of the Nile River and the rising of Sirius, which promoted the promise of abundance. So abundance was overall the main thing that ancient Egyptians took from or learned from the summer solstice. At Stonehenge, the stones align perfectly with the sunrise on the summer solstice, so this just goes to show how important the sun and its cycles and living in tune with the earth was and has been for many, many centuries. In pagan and Wiccan traditions, the summer solstice is actually a holiday known as Litha or Litha. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly, but either way, it was a holiday recognized by pagan culture. Now, this holiday was actually celebrated with a fire festival where the summer solstice was appreciated and celebrated, but it also equally represented a theme of balance, which I find really interesting because they recognize that from here the days begin to get shorter, so the sunlight and the light in general kind of wanes off slowly but surely. So something a little bit different about pagan culture is that they emphasized this change and this establishing. In indigenous North American cultures, they celebrate the summer solstice by honoring divination and the land around them and the abundance that comes with summer. For indigenous cultures, it's a very sacred time of purification and prayer. Overall, what I think is interesting is that these cultures and these experiences are united by a common ground. This idea that this isn't just a physical external event, but the summer solstice is something to be celebrated, and it's something that represents abundance and what's to come with the rest of the year, which I think is really, really beautiful. Cancer begins the second half of the astrological year, which is all about embodiment, emotional truth, and integration. Energetically, the solstice is a moment of expanded consciousness, kind of like I mentioned earlier. So think of it like expanded wisdom. When the veil is sort of thinned, we're able to receive messages and intuitive guides a lot easier. So I would slow down during this time and really pay attention to the emotions and the thoughts that you see coming through, because it really might be your spirit guides or your intuition peeking through, just because of this Cancer cardinal water sign season. In order to get a better idea of how this will impact you specifically, it's really important to pay attention to where you see Cancer show up in your own chart. So the houses that you see Cancer in, or the planets that are placed in Cancer, will be highlighted during this time. So will, for example, our fourth house, or even a little more loosely wherever you have other cardinal signs in your chart, or even water signs. I also recommend revisiting, I think I kind of mentioned this earlier, but where you were mentally and emotionally during the Capricorn new moon towards the beginning of this year, I believe it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or if not that, it's also important to pay attention to where you were at the time of the winter solstice. So think about the goals and the intentions that you set earlier this year and see where you are now. See what is working well, but also pay attention to the energy that needs to go. Because Cancer season is all about emotional vulnerability and depth, it's also really important to take those goals and ideas and intentions that you had for yourself and make sure they're aligned and in tune with your emotional needs, because that's what Cancer season will highlight, pretty much whether you're ready for that or not. Overall, the solstice allows us such a unique opportunity to connect with the solar energy within us. So don't pass up on this. Make sure that you are really taking it and taking note of the energies in your life and around you, because again, it's the brightest luminary and it's really, really important to honor and ritualize the season of life. The last thing that I want to go through in this video today are some actionable steps and rituals that you can take to honor both Cancer season and the summer solstice. The first thing I recommend is either a sunrise or sunset ritual. This can be as simple as watching both the sunrise and the sunset during Cancer season, or specifically hopefully during the summer solstice. While you're doing this, write out or say aloud intentions for the remainder of this year and realign your goals and your values. Just sitting under the energy of the sun is extremely important, and it will allow you to feel very energetically recharged. Because it's Cancer season, it's super important to adopt rituals that emphasize and embrace the use of water. So taking a bath during Cancer season is extremely important, especially using calming rituals or smells or scents or whatever you have around you, things like chamomile or mint or lavender, things like that. They're all going to calm ourselves down energetically and make us vibrationally more aligned with being present and grounded. I say this in essentially every video that I make, but it's also really important to journal during this time, just because it allows us to reflect and honor our growth so far. So things like, how am I nurturing my inner child? How am I mothering myself where needed? Where are my goals aligning with my emotional values? What goals aren't aligning with my emotional values? Even just those few prompts are all really great ideas to journal about and reflect about during this season. Another thing I recommend doing during Cancer season, because it's ruled by the moon, is lunar cycle planning. So this will allow us to pay attention to what signs the moon is in and plan our weeks and our days and our goals around the moon's energy. Essentially what I do every month, because this is a thing that I do monthly to help me plan my weeks and how I want to spend my energy each day, what I do is I literally just go into my calendar on my laptop and I'll look up a monthly astrological calendar, and for each change in moon sign, I will just write that down on the day that it changes into that sign, so that way throughout the month I can follow the moon phases. And like I said, I essentially integrate that into my daily life by aligning my weeks based off of it. So for example, I believe we're under an Aries moon right now as I film this, so I am filming this video today because I feel a little bit more energized and ready to go. But then we'll next move into a Taurus moon, I believe, if I'm saying that correctly. So that's going to be more so the time in which I kind of edit and chill and go more internal with my schedule. So you can kind of see how even just with filming, I try to align it to the moon signs because I find that energetically it works a lot better for me to do so. Overall, Cancer season is such an important season for nurturing ourselves and our inner child and our emotional needs. It's important for grounding and alignment, and honoring the summer solstice as well is really, really important for aligning ourselves and our own values with the values of Earth, because being grounded and being one with the Earth is how we really can make ourselves feel complete and whole. I really hope that you guys enjoyed all of the information in today's video, and if you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more. I'll be back super soon with some ideas for a reset coming into the summer season, because spiritually resetting and creating rituals for yourself is really important. So that's what I want to dive into next. But I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you all have such a beautiful summer solstice this weekend and a wonderful Cancer season. And remember to nurture yourself and take care of yourself, because that's what's most important. The gift of self is what we are blessed with in this lifetime, and it's important to honor it as much as possible. With that being said, I will see you guys so soon in my next video. Peace and love. Bye.